What's good, family, and welcome to Enjoy the Journey. I am your host, Devontae Lamont, and I'm so glad to be here with you today. I have with me Victoria Wharton, aka My Boss Culture, and she is here to have a conversation with us about some amazing things that we can do to elevate our businesses. All right, what's good, Victoria?
How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. First off, you know I love you.
I love you too.
Like, this is real, family. Like,
Yeah.
this is real. Like, I've done so many things with you, and just to see you in this space is so phenomenal. Victoria and I, we used to worship together. When I did worship experience, she was a part of that.
Yes.
And so I've been following your journey and seeing all the amazing things you're doing. And so I just want to first start by saying that I honor you.
Oh,
I'm grateful that you're here, and I cannot wait to see everything that God does in you.
wow.
Yeah.
And right back at you.
Thank
Right
you.
back at you because first off, I would have never thought I'd have been sitting in a chair across from you doing this right here.
Man, it's
I'm
all about
absolutely
faith.
honored.
It's
Thank you.
all about faith. So tell me a little bit about My Boss Culture. So that is something that I have been following that you're doing, helping people build businesses. Can you tell us a little bit about My Boss Culture?
Yeah, so it's actually the Boss Culture Network.
Boss Culture Network.
Yes.
So I'm telling everybody her Instagram name. So so if you want to follow Victoria on Instagram, it's My Boss Culture. But tell us about the network.
Yeah, so the Boss Culture Network is a place where we build businesses, brands, and bosses. We help new entrepreneurs and existing entrepreneurs build healthy six-figure businesses. So we have a program called the No Skip Zone.
Wow.
So we start from the bottom, bringing you all the way up to the top. And what that basically means is from establishing your business foundation, from starting out with your LLC, your EIN, getting all of your paperwork in place. I have a team, so it's not just myself.
I love
but
that.
I have a tax advisor. I have a brand coach. So every step in the business is it's a 7-step program.
7-step program. Tell us about those 7 steps.
Okay. First step is building your foundation.
Building your foundation. What does building your foundation mean in a business?
So basically for us as an entrepreneur, you have to make sure that you have all of your paperwork in place, right? So I'll use this for an example. As a sole proprietor, there is no protection in being a sole proprietor.
Right.
You just have an EIN and you're just doing business.
Right.
The non-protected part of that is if somebody decides to sue you, they can take you for everything that you have.
My God.
But if you have an LLC in place, it's a limited liability corporation, it can actually protect you. So if somebody decides to sue you, they would sue the actual business and not you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we never want it to where anybody would actually be able to come in and take you, take stuff from you when you're trying to build.
Yes.
So you have your LLC, you have your EIN, which is your company's social security number, basically, that's used for tax purposes. You also have your DUNS number, which is used to build business credit.
Okay.
Now, the EIN number and the DUNS number are both 9 digits, but you only use the DUNS number when building business credit or doing government contracts.
Okay. So that's kind of like you said, the social security for your business.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the main thing is just making sure that all of that is together. Now, I know there's some discrepancy because there's this big thing about the BOI report. But the beneficial owners report was actually put in place for a few things.
Okay.
During my line of work, you see a lot of people stealing LLCs.
Really?
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing?
It's a real thing.
Wow. I never would have thought that. How does that happen?
Because anybody can actually go into the system and request to change information. But for me, you have to have proof that you own the business.
Yeah.
So if it's already an established business, I need proof that you are the owner and that you have permission to do these things.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things that need to be in place, from making sure your LLC is done, your EIN. And if all of the business registration stuff is great, it's going to be hard for somebody to actually go in there and make those changes.
Wow.
Yeah. But the beneficial owners report kind of actually helps line up that protection
Yeah.
to make sure that If it's your business, it's your business versus somebody in New Hampshire
Yeah.
or across the world that has taken your information and built millions of dollars
Yeah.
under that LLC
Uh-huh.
and made you accountable for it.
So my question is, I hear a lot of people when they're starting business, they talk about trademarking. So where in the process does a trademark come, and what exactly is that?
Okay, so trademarking is basically, I would say, pretty much like a copyright for your business.
Okay.
Your business name. It could be your name. It's another level of protection, right? But I normally tell people, if you've never been in business before, and if you aren't sure what you're doing, I recommend don't trademark. Unless this is something you've been doing before.
Okay.
Like say, for instance, you're Devontae Lamont.
Mm-hmm.
That's your name. You want to trademark it. Of course, do that.
Right.
But it's to make sure that nobody can take your name. They can take your brand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it establishes you. Kind of like that McDonald's. You know,
Yeah.
or that Burger King.
We can't take that and say, this is my business, a big arch.
Because if you try it, you going to jail.
You going to jail with Ronald McDonald.
Okay.
Baby, you look like a clown.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But I usually don't recommend trademarks until you've been in business for a year to make sure that you like what you're doing, because trademarking can get expensive.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you don't know what you're doing, or if this is not a place that you don't feel like you want to, don't even waste the time or the money, because it could take up to a year for approval for trademarks.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we built the foundation. So what is the next step after you've built the foundation of your business?
Building your brand.
Building the brand.
Yes.
Ooh, this is getting juicy.
It can go two different ways, because you have a personal brand that you have to build.
Yeah.
And we're talking about you, who you are, what you do. And then we also have the brand of your business.
I think it's so key that you separated the two. Why? Tell me, key to the people, why you separated the two from your branding yourself versus branding the business.
Yeah. So it's two identities. So just imagine you have a driver's license for one thing, but you have another license for something else. The license for your business is your LLC. That's something totally different. That talks about all the other things that you do. Okay. But let's look at myself for an example, right? I sing, I write, I'm a business owner of multiple businesses. There is something about me when you see me that you should know. Sometimes it's kind of detached from the actual business, but you know when you see me, you know what you're going to get.
Absolutely.
It's the same with you. When I see you, I know what I'm going to get. But there also says there's something greater behind you. So that attachment, that the greater are the businesses, and they have their own identity. You're a great part of that, in the forefront of it.
Wow, that is so amazing. So I want to jump all over the place, but you just told us, even in talking about building your brand, that you sing, you write, and all these things. And I've witnessed her ministry. And she also got to say that she is a prayer warrior.
Ooh.
And an intercessor.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. The woman can pray down. But this leads me to this question. How does faith play a role in building your business or even sustaining you in your business?
So that's very, very important, right? To be an entrepreneur, you have to have faith. God calls us to a whole nother level, because you have to step out of places that's uncomfortable.
Yes, Lord.
You have to step out of in places that you don't even see yet. Because the word says faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not even seen. So you haven't even seen what you have to step into yet.
My God.
And so the thing about it is there's relationships that we look forward to and we're praying about. There's places that we wish that we take our businesses to, that we take relationships to, financially. You know, all of that, it's a faith walk.
It's a faith walk.
And you have to work at it in faith. Right? You have to work it in faith. One of the Bible verses that I like to talk about is when Jesus makes the disciples on the water.
My God.
He called us to be fishers of men.
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes we may look at where we are and what we do and say, well, there's no purpose in this. It's nothing in that. And God is just like, no, there is a ministry in what you do. There's a ministry in what you do. So even like this is going to go out to thousands and millions of
You
people,
receive it?
you know?
Yes,
And so
Lord.
this is marketplace ministry, and that's where God was dealing with me with about making sure that as we're stepping out, that this is not just a business,
Come on.
that we merge the two, and it's okay to bring ministry and business together
Yes.
and really look at it from the perspective of, okay, just like Jesus was out with the disciples on the boat. Hey, look, I'm going to instruct you while you're out here. It may seem weird. And the thing about even with that scripture, right? They weren't in a lake.
Ooh.
They weren't in a river.
Come on.
They were in a sea.
They were in the sea.
They were in a sea. There was something big, and no telling how far they were out there. But Jesus called them to cast out their net and do something in faith.
Faith.
Instruction came with them being out there in the deep.
Woo.
And not just did it just come any kind of way, but they end up getting a blessing of overflow. And it didn't just bless them, but it blessed other people.
Yes, God.
And then they had to call on help
Yeah.
to receive the rest of what was coming.
So good.
So even in this season, for what we have to do and to catapult in the season that we are in, we have to do it with other people that God is calling us to do it with.
I believe that. And one thing that I also love about the scripture of Jesus being on the boat and Peter, you know, when Peter stepped out of the boat, and see, a lot of people, when we talk about that scripture, they'll focus on the fact, oh, well, when Peter stepped out the boat, he began to sink.
Ooh, yeah.
But here's the thing, he didn't sink, he began to sink. And not only that, first off, I applaud Peter for getting off the boat. the man got off the boat. And I think sometimes even in business, that's what God is requiring of us, to trust in him fully, to step off of the boat and know that he's got us. Peter didn't sink.
Yeah.
And so when we step out on faith and we keep our eye on the prize, which is also what Peter did, then we're able to step into these new arenas and these marketplaces. And I think we were also talking about this, that there are times and seasons when our calling and our purpose and assignment may change. And so I think that that's powerful. Like, I've been a worship leader and a gospel artist pretty much my entire life.
Yeah.
And so even with this show, you know, it is a faith walk, because it is something new for me where God is now requiring me to use my voice. But people are so used to seeing one version of me. But if I am going to impact the world in this season, in this space, it calls for a different measure of my purpose. And so I'm still inspiring people. It just may not be in the same vein. So that's so much. Woman of God, we about to have church.
Come on, Jesus.
Come on, Jesus. Oh.
Yeah.
But let's keep on the business. So so we built our brand. What is the next step to building our business?
Okay. Now we jump into your systems.
Okay.
Everybody has to have a system.
System.
And systems is not just computers, but it's how you do things. Some people don't have a system and they're just all over the place. So everything with this no skip zone program, it teaches you to put things in order and into perspective.
Can we just stop right there? It calls you to put things in order. And I think that's even powerful, not just for our business, even for our life.
Yeah.
We need a strategy and a plan.
Absolutely.
Ooh, so no skip zone. And so tell us about this next process.
Okay. So after the systems, then we start talking money.
We like money.
We like money, but we have to know how to manage it.
Yeah, we do.
We need to know how to get it.
Yeah.
So because a lot of people just think it's grants. You know, some people just start businesses. Oh, I need a grant now. But what does it take to get a grant? Some people don't know you have to have headshots. Some people don't know anything about an introductory offer. Some people don't know nothing about a pitch or an I help statement. Some people are scared to get in front of a camera. But these are things that are required to do that. So after you've done that, we get your money. Then we have an HR process. What does building your team look like?
Okay.
Do you have that in place? If you don't have that, something a little different we need to discuss.
How do you, and this is particularly for smaller businesses, I have a question, you know, so how do you take a small business with a small budget and be able to expand that? How does it become scalable? How do people come from this place of me just, I've getting my LLC and I'm starting the business, but how do I grow it to something that I can scale? How do I grow to something where I can get funding? Are there processes and things of that nature for that?
Yeah. So I can take a business with $500 and start teaching you how to build your business. There's certain platforms. It's uncomfortable processes that you have to do when you don't have the money to pay like a PR firm to come in and do the work for you. And my thing is, I would love to teach you how to do it, so that way, if you ever got stuck, you would know what to do and how to come up.
So you teaching me how to fish?
Absolutely.
I like that, because a lot of times when we talk with business consultants like yourself, the company is putting the work in, but the business owner kind of has no say so. They don't know what's going on. They just know, I'm trusting the consultant, but ultimately this is your business. And I believe that, and there's a quote, and it is not coming to my mind, but I just heard, like, you're teaching people how to fish, how to fish.
Yes, and that's exactly it. That is absolutely what I tell everybody. That's my job, to teach you how to fish. Because when you get out here, I need you to know what an LLC, what it does, the power behind it. Every document that you get from me, you know what it's for.
Yeah.
Even to building your business, you have a say so in walking the process out. I have to determine what your business is. How many clients are you looking to serve? So that way we know how to adjust the platforms that you need. If you're not so techie, I need to find a simple system for you.
Yeah.
Because we can't run your business,
right.
Not for no $500.
Not $500.
But I can teach you.
Make it clear.
Right. I have to teach you how to do it. And it's better that way too. When people try to get over on you, you already know what the situation is.
Come on.
We don't need anybody else getting over there. Too many people. Most of my clients that come to me, they've paid out $1,500, $3,000 to people, and they have not received half of the information that I have shared with them.
Ownership.
Absolutely.
I think that's why ownership is so important, because when you own your business, you own what you do. Nobody can steal that from you. And there was a celebrity, and I was watching a podcast, and he was saying, I knew I was worth something when they offered me my first million. And when they offered me my first million, I knew I was worth so much more. And so I think that it's so key that we learn these tools, we learn these skills, so that we take ownership of of what it is that God has called us to do, so that no one else can come in and mismanage it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah. So I also want to talk about just some fun things. Like, what are some things that you like to do for fun? You're a business owner. A lot of times when you're a business owner, you can get so engrossed in the business that it becomes your life and everything you do. And we forget to take care of us. And we forget self-care, and we forget all of that. So what are some ways you, as a business owner, or some ways you can encourage other business owners to still care for yourself, have that self-care, but still run the business to make sure it is successful?
Okay. So one thing for me, if I'll be honest with you, like, I love to travel.
Yes.
I absolutely love to travel.
When your next trip?
Yeah. Now?
I did forget to tell y'all. I forgot to tell y'all that Victoria is actually joining us here from Spartanburg, South Carolina. So welcome to Atlanta. Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play and we ride on the thing like every. No, it's fine.
Oh.
No, it's fine. Forgive us, Lord. So let's talk about travel. Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So not just only that, but my next trip is next week. I'll be in Alabama with my prophetic mentor, Prophetess Trish Morissette. But yeah, I love to travel. There's so many things to do. With my first business, the cleaning business, Mr. Fresh, it kind of got me in the habit of traveling. I would travel to do so many jobs, but I never really knew how beautiful the world was.
Wow.
Until I just really got out there. You see stuff on TV and you see other people posting stuff, but it was just different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy Atlanta while I'm here.
Yeah. First off, you need to I'll tell you where you need to go because it's some spots that got some good food. So I'll tell you that off camera.
Please tell
Oh
me.
yeah, because I'm a foodie. I love to eat.
Please tell
And
me where
since
I can
I've
get some
been,
lamb chops.
baby, Atlanta loves lamb chops.
Don't do
And you gonna
it.
find some lamb chops. Now,
Uh-oh.
if you don't find nothing else, you're gonna find some lamb chops. You're gonna have to park for $10 to get the lamb chops.
What?
I'm telling you, you gotta pay for it everywhere in Atlanta.
I'm okay with
Crazy. I don't know why that came to my mind. I'm sorry, I'm getting off.
No, this is good.
But you love to travel
Yes.
and seeing the world. Okay. What are some other things, outside of your business that you like to do just for you?
You know what? I got to do better about that.
We all do.
I just have to be honest. Like, seeing my nephews,
Yeah.
spending time with them, probably since 2020, what is this, 24? 23, I lost my sister.
Yeah.
So it's just been kind of hard to trying to figure out what to do,
Yeah.
But just trying to find my way back
Yeah.
to having fun and doing stuff. I don't have no kids, so
Yeah, baby.
hit
It's
the
time to
road and
live. It's
go.
time to live.
Okay.
And it's time to live. First off, you have multiple business and you
Yes.
and your network is training people and leading people to start their businesses and be successful at it. What are some of the businesses that you have?
Of course, the Boss Culture Network.
Mhm.
And then I have the Ready Cleaning Agency.
Okay.
It's basically where we actually train cleaning professionals
Wow.
to do work in the commercial field.
Whoa, really?
Yeah,
That's so neat.
yeah.
And is it based just in South Carolina?
We do virtual as well.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, we do virtual training, and we do travel.
Nice.
Yeah, so we come to you so we can do on-site training.
Nice.
Mhm.
So, how has it been for you, with, My Boss Culture Network and owning your own business? What is that light bulb moment for you? Like what inspires you most about helping clients?
If I'll say it this way, first off, I would have said the money.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
But I think my thing is now when you realize that for instance, with me, when I started, I couldn't afford a $5,000 coach.
Yeah.
I didn't know that certain places like SCORE existed.
Mhm.
SCORE is a free resource center in almost every state
Yeah.
that provides free coaching. But there's also a limit to the amount of information that they give you.
Right.
So being in that arena of not knowing and then just struggling through from 2010 to 2017 was when I was like, you know what, this has got to be better. And then from 2017 to 2019 was when, God was preparing me a whole nother different way, not even knowing that the pandemic was about to take place. And so during the pandemic, I didn't just clean houses, but I was also an answer for resources to provide disinfectant spray and gloves and masks and all these other things. But I didn't think that there was more to my cleaning business. I thought it was just cleaning, but God opened a door for me to be a resource, to provide resources.
Thank you, Lord.
So sometimes we would just look at a process and say, well, this is it. And God is like, no, you just getting started. There is more.
Ooh.
And so in 2022, during that process, everybody was like, well, how you doing what you doing? And how you doing this? Because I was still traveling during that time. So 2022, God gave me the idea of the Boss Culture Network. We're a boss, but this is also a culture. You have to get used to doing certain things. And I don't want you to learn to do this by yourself.
Yeah.
I want you to build a network. And in that network, and what he showed me was over the years, that's how I built my business to 6 figures, by using everybody else.
Wow.
Building relationship with other people.
Relationships.
You have to do that.
Yeah. How important? Oh Lord, this is because it is so true that your network is your net worth. And so, how crucial is it to you to have relationships, and how do relationships affect you in the world of business?
Ooh, if you don't have relationships, you don't have business.
Well, there it is.
How do people? It's like people's like. How do you think franchises work? How do you think that there's McDonald's on every block, Burger Kings and Zaxby's and all these other places? Without a relationship and building that relationship, You're not going to have it. Most franchise owners, they have to build a relationship with the company. The company needs to know that they have a relationship with these people before they trust them with their brand. Because now it's not the owner of who actually owns all of the McDonald's. Now you're going to be a part of that brand.
Yeah. Victoria, let me tell you something. You got me just sitting there like, wow, because I think that this information is so needed and these conversations need to be had.
Yeah.
And also, I know there are so many people in the world of business who just need guidance, who need tools, and they need resources. And you are providing that. And you started in 2022. We are now in 2025, and to see the success of your business is just so amazing. So you're building networks, you're building your business. What is next for Victoria Warden? Like, what's something coming up for you?
Well, I am actually working on a 6-week opportunity. It's going to be something like a little podcast.
Okay.
But it's called Mad at God.
Mad at God.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you tell me about that? And that's such a rich title. Like, where did Mad at God come from?
Yes. So I'll share. Probably 2020 when my brother passed away. I didn't realize how much I was like upset as to what happened. Yeah. And just to kind of go in just a little bit, for the sake of time, my brother was hit in Ohio.
Wow.
And I begged God to save him. You know, I got a phone call that he had passed away, and I felt I was living a righteous life. I was married at the time. You know, I just felt like everything was on the up and up. You know, God, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. Oh, you gonna do this? So, unfortunately, in the middle of the pandemic, me and my mom had to drive to Ohio and see about him. And it was just everything in me. God, I don't believe this. This ain't true. Your word says da, 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 da. And I believe when I get to Ohio, he gonna live.
Yeah.
God didn't do that for me. And I was upset and I was angry because I felt like I was living a life and you couldn't even honor what I was asking. Your word says this.
Wow.
And so I found myself not even realizing it, but I was really mad at God.
Wow.
And then it was like from my brother's death, I lost the opportunity to get custody of my nephew. Then my marriage, that went to shambles. And then I had to move to another place. And then my business went on hold. It was like everything started going downhill. And I found myself sinking in a hole. And so for at least about 2 or 3 years, it got to a point where I just started pointing out everything and telling God everything I was mad about.
Wow.
And those were just a few of the things. It was like 5 things slapped me in the face at one time. And I was like, I don't even know how I'm surviving at this moment. I had started drinking. I had started smoking, trying to find my way. Yeah. And nothing seemed to satisfy me. But it wasn't until 3 years ago when I arrived at the place I met you. Yeah. It was just, God saved my life then. And then he had to tell me, I know you're mad at me. But through those moments, it was just the fact that God was looking for my honesty. Yeah. He was looking for my truth. My truth was, I am mad at you. Yeah. I asked you to do something, you didn't do it.
There's our transparency.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's true. See, people, even with that, let's go there for a second.
Yeah.
But people say, the only truth is God's truth. That is correct. But here's the truth about me. I have to be honest about how I feel and put it out there, because I can sit there and try to shade tree and act like it ain't happening. But God already know how I feel. So why am I gonna lie to him?
Yeah.
That don't even make sense.
Yeah.
But it's just, I had to just lay everything down and say, hey, look, God, this is what I'm mad about. And then, but my problem was too, I didn't read the scripture fully to really understand what God was saying. So all these years I've heard all these scriptures being quoted. You know, I didn't think that death could happen to me. You know, it was just so many things that I needed God to start untraditionalizing. Start really tearing down these things, because we read things, we've heard things, but in our reality, that's not what God meant.
Ooh. And hearing what you're talking about, again, we are here to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
All of what you went through was a part of the process. How do you think that everything that you endured and overcame, how did that lead you to this moment, this stage, this season of your life right now?
It was my yes.
Woo!
It couldn't have been nothing but my yes, because I look at the fact I lost my brother in 2020. I lost my sister almost 2 years ago. It was three of us. And my sister had a lung disease. And she walked around with her oxygen machine, didn't complain about nothing.
And she was a praiser.
Yeah.
I remember seeing her in church and beginning up praise. I loved her. Yes.
But that's what blessed me.
Yeah.
She didn't complain about anything. And the fact that is the memory that I'm left with. Give God your everything to your last breath.
To your last breath.
And that's what I vowed to do.
Wow.
Because we all have a call. We all have something that we're doing. And we just don't have time for anything other than
that, but your purpose.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Victoria, I want to say thank you so much for being here with us. Can you tell the people how can they stay in touch with you? How can they become a part of the Boss Culture Network? All that information.
Yes, if you guys would like to be a part of the Boss Culture Network, you can find us on Instagram or Facebook at MyBossCulture. Our website is www.mybossculture.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Family,
I love y'all. Listen, this is our year to get our businesses right. And if you have a dream, I decree and declare that you're going to go after with everything in your heart. This is your season and this is your time. All right, y'all. Peace out.